Okay, hello there puppets and welcome to another video. In this video I'm going to be going through the latest patch, the patch 1.2 for Lies of P, which went live today as I'll be making this video, but it'll probably go up tomorrow. Well, the video will go up tomorrow, so yesterday. So then, first of all, we've got balance changes. Field monster balance changes. Decrease the HP of certain field monsters. Increase the chance of breaking some monster's stance and the frequency of stagger. And increase the staggerable window time. And decrease the HP of all three types of dimensional butterflies. So that last one's not as relevant. But these main first ones here, this is exactly the kind of stuff I was a bit weary of. Now, I haven't gone in-game and tested this out yet, but decreasing the HP and increasing the chance of breaking a stance and the frequency of stagger and increase staggerable window time. All of those things are like you can increase the staggerable window time through upgrades for your P organ. And I don't think any of the field monsters needed their health reduced personally. I didn't think there was ever an instance of needing to of enemies being too tanky, just regular field monster enemies. And decreasing the HP of all types of dimensional butterflies, I can kind of understand this because I was using a greatsword and it would often take me 4 hits to defeat some of them in the latter half of the game. So I can understand that one, but these first 3 ones I don't quite understand that, I think that's not really necessary. Adjusted the rewards for some monsters, increase the drop rate of moonstone type items, decrease the drop rate of star fragments. I can understand that because I was getting loads of them. Increase the drop rate of ergo items and increase the ergo rewards of certain monsters that appear after the Lorenzini arcade. Now, these I don't necessarily mind as much because this is more like almost like upgrading you by giving you certain other items. So you get more of them, which means that you'll be stronger towards the end of the game. That's almost like a different way of nerfing the enemies because instead it's sort of buffing you, allowing you to upgrade yourself a little bit more. So I think I can understand that. I can understand these changes a little bit more. Now, this is an interesting one. Boss monster balance changes. So decrease the HP of Fallen Archbishop Andreas. Do not agree with that at all. Decrease the HP of the King of Puppets in the first phase. Okay, the first phase I can understand a little bit more. So I'm a bit more okay with that because it's just the first phase, so the second phase is still unchanged. Decrease the HP of Simon Manus, Arm of God, and decrease the damage of Simon Manus, Awakened God. And increase the chance to break the stance of Simon Manus, Awakened God. Now this one, I can sort of understand this a little bit more again. So the only real one I got most of an issue with is the first one, decreased HP of Fallen Archbishop Andreas. That's the main one which I have a bit more of an issue with because that one is just like, I think he was perfectly fine. It was just you needed to actually properly understand his attacks to be able to properly master that fight. And I think it took a while to do it, but it didn't take me any more than about, 10 attempts to do that. Once I it was mainly more a learning thing. Once I actually learned his attacks, the fight was fine. I had no issue with it. So that's the main one I take an issue with personally. Again, it depends how much they've decreased the HP by though. If they just decreased like the second phase by 10% health, I'm okay with that, I suppose. But if it's like, 33% of his health has been taken away in the second phase, that I take more of an issue with that. But the way it's saying it is like it's decreased HP of probably both the first and second phase. I think the first phase was perfectly fine because it was just enough health for you to think, oh, I've beaten him here on a first attempt when you've defeated the first phase. But then the second phase comes as a surprise, and I like that. So I hope that it hasn't done. I'm going to have to go in and test that, I think, today. The other changes I can understand a little bit more. I think that's a bit more understandable. Increase the Spectre's HP and damage. This here is something that I'm definitely concerned with because this is implying. So this is basically the Spectre. Obviously, as any veteran Souls player will know, bringing the Spectre in Lies of P is like easy mode for yourself. It's already easy mode anyway. I've never beaten a boss with a Spectre, but I summoned it to see what it was like on the. I can't remember the boss's name now. The big metal furnace guy. Him. I summoned the Spectre on that fight just to see what it did. And it basically took on the boss by itself. Basically, like, I would have beaten that boss first go if I hadn't just let myself die. Because I just wanted to see what the Spectre was like. So I let myself die because I just wanted to actually beat the boss by myself. But the fact they've increased its HP and damage, that just means like those early fights are going to be absolutely borderline broken for the Spectre. So they're just going to come in there and just defeat it easily, and it's just going to defeat the whole purpose of the game. So I'm not necessarily a fan of that. System changes related to the character progression reset. Okay, this is interesting. Added the feature to reset the character's level, P organ, and Legion arms at the gold coin tree. That's pretty cool. I like that, actually. I'm a fan of that. So you can reset your level, P organ, and Legion arms at the gold. So that's pretty cool, actually. So you can... So is that at any point in the game? Once you've... So obviously, that would be after the first Black Granite Brotherhood fight. You'd be able to do that, I assume. Unless they allow you to go there earlier or something, but we'll see. We'll see. Characters created after this patch will now receive 8 gold coin fruits instead of 5 for their first harvest. Okay, that's pretty... Again, that's pretty just general helpful change. Adjusted the required amount of gold coins to reset the character's level, P organ, and Legion arms. Okay. This is interesting. Those are all changes that I support. I'm okay with all of these changes. All these changes I'm fine with. I think that's pretty... that's okay. Additional changes. Players will now be able to carry more weight for each point spent on capacity. Again, that's a helpful change. I'm fine with that. Decrease the weight of amulets that can be purchased with boss ergo. Okay, that's fair again. Amulets I don't think should really use much weight. Players will now be able to land attacks better when they use Fable Arts that consume 3 or more slots. Includes Fable Arts that stack. Successfully performing the Fable Art Guard parry will now break the monster's stance. Okay. All of those are generally changes that I'm okay with. It's mainly just the early ones to do with health and damage and things I've got more of an issue with. But these changes here, I can understand that more. I can understand that. So now we've got new features. Now supports the DualShock 4 and DualSense controllers on Windows operating systems devices after days. Okay, so that's just a general helpful change if you're someone that was using the DualShock 4 and DualSense controllers on Windows. Obviously, I've been playing Lies of P on the PC. I've been playing it on the Xbox through Game Pass, so this hasn't been an issue for me. But if I was going to be playing it on PC, I would have been using a DualSense controller. So that's going to be helpful when I do eventually get Lies of P on the PC. So that's going to be pretty helpful. Bug fixes, so these are just things that are obviously issues. Let's see what were issues then. Fix a bug with the Legion on Pandemonium 2, not working yet. Fix a bug with the Legion on Pandemonium, consumed it, okay. Geppetto's face to flicker in the cutscene after defeating the nameless puppet with graphic quality presets low. Okay, I didn't actually notice that, yeah. Oh yeah, graphic quality presets low. Fix type of Carlo Collodion, okay. We apologise to Mr. Collodion, that was not a lie. They spelled Carlo Collodi wrong in the end credits. That's quite funny, actually. I didn't notice that. Known issues, PS4 controller settings resetting issue. So, again, you can read all that if you need help with that. Inability to proceed to Chapter 3. Some players encounter difficulties in advancing to subsequent chapters due to abnormal actions, such as passing through doors in unconventional ways. Okay, yeah, okay, so this was to do with that glitch that I mentioned in a previous video, where if you sprinted at a door and tapped the button really fast, you could actually go to the other side of a door and essentially just skip part of the level. So I'm assuming that's in reference to that. So it's saying here, if you install the latest patch. So I didn't realise that actually people were having issues. So if you did that, apparently it would stop you being able to proceed to Chapter 3. That's pretty cool, okay. So, yeah. So they've actually done... They didn't need to fix that, you see. They didn't need to fix... They could have just said, oh, well, you've glitched the game, so you shouldn't really do that. You should just play through the game again. But apparently, if you install the latest patch, launch the game and activate any Stargazer ability, visit the hotel and interact with Geppetto, or acquire the Krat City Hall key. Those things, if you do those things, it will allow you to proceed to Chapter 3 now. That's pretty cool. The DualShock 4 and DualSense controller display area on Windows if you trigger keyboard input while using the DualShock 4. Okay. So this is all; those are all just regular, more normal stuff. So this is interesting then. So I think this patch, overall, it's been okay. I think they haven't been as harsh as I thought they might be, potentially responding to people's changes. The one thing that I personally think they should have done instead of some of these things, or still now I still would like them to do it, is increase the parry window time. But this is the kind of thing that I find interesting. So the fact they haven't changed it straight away in this 1.2 patch means that maybe they're not going to change it, and they feel like the parry window timing is fine. And that's okay. I completely respect them if that is their decision that they're making. I think if that's the game they want, if they want it to be incredibly tight, that perfect parry window, if they want that to be incredibly tight, I can completely understand that. I can get with that. So, but There are a lot of people out there that are saying that. I do think if they're going to go around the path of increasing dodging, making it so dodging is better, I think they should do the perfect parry, adjust that instead. In my personal opinion, I think they should focus on addressing that and increasing that, so that means more people are going to want to parry as opposed to dodging. But that's not saying that they're addressing currently. Maybe they will do in the next patch, but they haven't done it here, and I find that quite interesting that they haven't done that. They've instead opted to decrease the health of some field monsters and decrease the health of Archbishop Andreas, the King of Puppets, and Simon Manas. So I find that interesting changes, but I don't think, this isn't completely damaging to the game's difficulty. I mean, again, I haven't gone in there and looked at the actual health changes. I mean, I could go and fight Fallen Archbishop Andreas now and realise that they've completely destroyed the fight, but I don't think that will be the case. I think generally these kind of patches might be like 20% health will be reduced across the board, and I think that would be okay, really. I think I can live with that generally, but still, this game's gonna have the Armored Core 6 problem, that we're gonna have people saying, I beat the game before the patch, I beat the proper game, you will beat the newbie version of the game. So that'll be interesting to see how that goes down in the community. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Maybe even share this video with them if you enjoyed it, if it was good enough. Thank you again for watching. This is Chaos Soul signing out. Have a good one.